sure is. And we're Ron and Fez.
It is the Ron and Fez show. We'll be hanging out a week from Thursday, Fez, doing a live show.
The date is August 12th. The location, Dave & Buster's. That's at the White Flint Mall in Bethesda.
All right, 866-277-4969. Wanted to open the phone lines to this, Fez. The most important presidential election, they say, of our lifetime. Never has the country been so divided. It doesn't look like we've come anywhere closer together in the last 4 years. And yet half the country, in the middle of this, does not vote. I want to hear from the non-voters tonight. The people who just go, well, what's the difference? What difference at all does it make?
With this election, I got to the point early in the spring where I was like either going to vote for John Kerry or not vote at all. I came close to just not voting.
866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Here's Derek. Derek, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, well, you know, it's like if we have President Bush for 4 more years, we're going to fight terror. And if we got Kerry for 4 years, we're going to fight terror. So we're going to be doing the same thing. I would go vote if they had a slot on the ballot that said none of the above.
All right, so your point is no matter what happens, they're going to be fighting terrorists.
Yeah, nobody's saying anything different.
Right,
the only thing we've been talking about is fighting terror.
The thing that you want to do is not fight terror.
No, not at all. I think we should continue fighting terror, but if it doesn't matter, both presidents are going to do it, or both nominees say they're going to
I understand what you're saying, but it's the way that you would fight terror. That's kind of one of the differences between
He figures the garbage is getting picked up either way, Ronnie. It doesn't matter to him.
All right, 866-277-4969. Here's Peter. Peter, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, buddies?
Hey, my buddy.
Yeah, like, I think it's stupid that we just have, like, the two-party system because, like, all that matters is then it becomes, like, a popularity contest, you know? Yeah,
I guess you could say every election is a popularity contest.
Yeah.
But we have more than two parties. There's the Green Party. There's even the Communist Party. We probably have 20 or 30 parties in the country at least, right, Fez?
Oh, yeah, we got Libertarian. There is actually a party called the Independent Party.
Right. So you got a lot of different parties.
Yeah, but, I mean, the only two parties that matter are always the Republican and Democrat, so I don't really see the point in bothering electing when it's just going to be
you know what?
That don't even want it to begin.
You know what? That's also not true on a local level. On a local level, some of the Green Party people have done very well.
Yeah, if you living in New York, looking there, it's so Democratic that usually there's not any sort of GOP party represented for different offices.
Oh, in Manhattan.
Yeah, Manhattan, and then it's like all kinds of parties you never heard about.
Yeah, so, I mean, you still can put your vote out there. It doesn't mean that you have to vote along with the two major parties. Here's Kent. Kent, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's happening, Ron and Fez?
Hey, buddy.
My wife put me on the phone. She always gives me a hard time for not voting, and been, I guess, able to for the last 4 elections and still haven't thrown my vote down.
Yeah.
I think if I were there this time, probably vote for Ron. I think he's a little hotter than Fez. No offense, Fez. I'd still like to give you a big hug. But
all right, we're not going to go in that direction. We're not voting between me and Fez.
This isn't the WWE Diva search.
And if elected, I will not serve. Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, is this me?
Yes, it is, sir. Welcome, Matt.
Right on. How's it going, man?
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it doesn't really matter. The individual votes are kind of pointless because it all depends on what the electors vote for.
The electoral vote, you're saying?
Yeah, and it's kind of like the only reason to vote. It'll just show how wrong the electors are. You know, like we'll see that, Kerry will have more, individual votes from voters.
That hasn't happened a huge amount of time. Normally it goes along with the popular vote, doesn't it, Fez?
Yeah, if someone wins the popular vote in that state, they win that state.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I'm also saying even the popular vote in the country, I think it was the last election, and I don't think Kennedy got the popular vote either.
Oh, I wasn't sure about that.
I don't think he did, if I had to guess.
And then before that, I think you go to Benjamin Harrison. So the amount of times it's happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, that you want it completely a popularity contest, as they say. But we will see. Here's Fred. Fred, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
Hey, buddy, I'm just thinking about the two-party system. The good thing being, of course, that both parties have to conform to the majority. Unlike if you have a lot of different parties, then they can have more extremist views. But my main point is about the wild, wondrous state of Alaska. What's going on up there? Those are the kind of people that you want to talk to, the people that are don't have to be involved. It seems to me that I had a friend one time.
All right, Fred, we're talking to people who don't vote, not the people who enjoy the state of Alaska. Here's Jason. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy, same thing as Matt, man. It doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter.
The government doesn't think you're smart enough to choose who it is that you want. The electoral vote counts. Your vote doesn't matter.
So you're just saying there's no sense in being, you're not really represented anyway.
Why waste your time?
Thank you.
That's an hour out of your day when you can do something else.
And you wouldn't give up an hour out of the day just to let people know how you feel in the country. And I'm honestly, half the people agree with you. And I myself have taken the same thing before. Normally when I went in, it was because it looked like it was a runaway vote. I think I missed the Clinton year. I think I missed the Reagan year. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, I've hit every year, and with last year's...
Now, do you always hit all the local elections, or just presidential elections?
I think I missed one state election in my entire voting career.
Nice. That's very strong.
But I will vote, every time there's a vote, I will show up there.
And yours is always you pull that big R lever, right? The Republican Party. This will be your first year.
Usually with judges, I always vote for, like, a new judge. Even if I don't know the candidates, because I always like new blood on the bench. I don't know if that sounded good.
I don't want to take a whole hour of my day. I don't want to take a whole hour out. Here's Eric. Eric, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ronnie and Fez, how you doing, fellas? I like what you said, Ronnie, about if elected, you will not accept, because most dudes say, if nominated, I will not run. You go in the whole 10 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If I'm nominated, I'm going to get elected. I'm not going to lie about that.
All right, I like that. But, they stole my thunder. I was going to say Electoral College because, number one, that was a throwback from, when we was fighting England and stuff. They said most people didn't know what they were even voting for, so we'll have more enlightened people vote for them,
Yeah. Yeah. But actually, the whole thing is thrown back to colonial times. Everything we do is thrown back there.
It would be interesting to see if, let's say, in a certain state, President Bush takes 45% of the vote, Kerry takes 55%.
Yeah.
If they divvied up the electoral votes that same way.
All right, 866-277-4969. Maybe we'll book somebody on the show one night, Fezzy, who can go through the Electoral College for us and tell us why they believe it's positive or negative or the time has come. But it would seem like if enough of us got together and wanted to change the way that we vote in this country, we could pull that off, too. Here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah.
See, my thing is there's no choice. There's an illusion of choice. You either vote for a billionaire who's nothing like you, or you vote for a billionaire who's nothing like you. In fact, of all these candidates, the four on the ticket, Bush, actually, the big oil man, has the lowest net worth. I mean, it's unreal.
Well, he wasn't really great as being a big oil man. That wasn't a lot of success for him. But I do agree with you. I agree 100% now. And the fact that it takes $200 million to win a job that pays, $400,000 a year is absolutely ridiculous. Although it seems to me that when we got out and we tried to do some of the soft money, hard money, it just got more complicated and just more of an annoying.
Yeah, it's like even though they passed the McCain-Feingold, whatever it is, they just found more ways around it.
Yeah, and they always will. Here's Sean. Sean, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
I don't vote, mostly out of laziness, but, a lot of the people are calling up, like that one guy that called that said, we're just going to be fighting terrorism. Either way you vote.
Yeah.
I mean, do any of these people know the things that Bush has done?
You don't vote, though, my man, right?
Yeah, I know, so I don't really have any,
you don't have
any
a
right
voice
to complain, exactly.
Well, I mean, yeah, no one can, but you really don't have a voice. Even though you're saying, I'm upset with the president right now, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Well, yeah, I mean, but, people who...
What? Vote?
I guess I should vote. But,
Okay, my man.
I hope that bird in the background votes instead.
I mean, you seem like you want to cast the vote to me and Fez, and yet you're not going to do it on Election Day.
Sure thing, but I mean, a lot of these other people need to look into what's going on.
No, bro. They're good. They are voting the way they want to vote.
Well, a lot of people aren't voting because they don't look into what's going on. If they knew what was going on, they may get off their butts and go vote.
You're one of the people. I'm only talking to you, not some extreme case. Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you?
I just want to say, if you live in Virginia, what's the point in voting either way? Because you already know last year who's going to win this year. So,
that's not. First of all, that's not always necessarily true. They say this year Virginia could go the other way.
For the first time since Johnson.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that.
You really think so? I love to see it, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Have you ever voted, Matt?
Yeah. Well, I'm only 21 right now, so I've only voted in the last election. But
are you going to vote in this one?
Yes, I am.
Okay, my friend. See you at the polls. 866-277-4969. Fez, you went out and voted for people that you knew had lost or weren't going to win, right?
Sure. I voted for, Bob Dole.
Right. Bob Dole. I'm a Bob Dole man. So, didn't matter to you? You felt like you still needed to get out there and vote anyway?
Yeah, I always think, what if there's some sort of magical thing that happens on election night, like Dewey defeats Truman,
right.
And I want to be part of that.
Like the last election, where in the state of Florida, it came down to a couple of hundred people. A state of, 20, 25 million people, Fez?
Right, and what was it, 577 votes, 580 votes?
Unbelievable.
Those counted.
Hey, Hanson, you're on Fez.
Yeah, I don't vote. I've never really voted before. I'm 20 years old. I go to college. Basically, I got a question. I don't really know the issues. Would you rather have me vote for somebody that I don't know what I'm voting for, or would you rather have me not vote for?
I'm going to be totally honest to you. This happens a lot with local elections, and that's why the party system is important, because maybe you don't know the guy from the school board, but you say, I'm going to trust, my party, whether it's the Republicans or Democrats. There's plenty of names on there that you don't know all the time, and that's why the parties are more important than people give it credit for when they go, I'm an independent. Well, that's not necessarily true. You're not going to go all the way down the line and try to figure out who's going to be the best dog catcher.
Right.
All right, my friend.
And that's even in the presidential election, everyone knows these two guys by now, but it isn't stopping them from flipping pancakes somewhere, and just making sure they get to as many people that they need to as possible.
And you know what? That goes back to my thing of, once you see somebody, it's hard not to like them. All you got to do is see a famous person, and you say to yourself, yeah, he's not a bad guy.
I always think it's funny how, with Clinton and Bush, but it was supposed to be return dignity to the White House.
Yeah.
Well, the two guys that want in that Oval Office for the most dignified job in the world are walking around, and they're petting dogs and flipping flapjacks and plucking chickens and every other hoop they got to jump through.
Letting babies puke on their shoulders. The dignity went out the window when you try to get that gig. Maybe it starts after you win the election. But, even go beyond that. Here's the President of the United States. We're at a war on terror. And the man is spending most of his time for the last 2 years flying around, going to these rubber chicken lunches to raise money for his reelection. That's why I wish we could do something differently than just leave it out there the way we do now. Because you're taking time away from the president, so he has to go speak in BF, Iowa, to a bunch of people.
On the other side of it, I would like to see these guys have to visit all 50. Because now it's everyone. They both showed up in Iowa today, about 15 minutes away from each other. They've both been to Pennsylvania and Ohio 20 times.
Yeah, so you'd like to see them on a standard thing. They got to show up same time, same places.
Yeah, where they have to appear in every state.
How about this? 50 dates, 50 states, 50 debates, and when it's over, you will know. And I'm a guy.
I would know by then.
I'm a guy who likes the debating process. I know a lot of people go, hey, you're not proving who's the best candidate, just who's the best debater. I want my guy to be able to think on his feet. That's just my own personal feelings. And when I see them guys move around and try not to look like they're going for the knockout like Gore and Bush did last time, they both disappointed me. I say go in there and slug it out. Here's David. David, you're on the Ron and Fez show, buddy.
Hey, Ron. How you doing? Hi, Ron. How fast?
Hey, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't voted since I was 18. I'm 42 now.
Right.
I'm a convicted felon. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Well, you have a good
excuse. I just registered this year, though. Hopefully, they'll let me in and I can vote.
All right, my friend.
I'm starting to feel guilty about not voting. So
well, I'd feel more guilty about the felony if I was you. That's the important thing.
Either way, you're guilty.
Okay, my friend.
I didn't. I was wrongly convicted.
Me too. We all were.
Hey, I like the show, man.
I see it. It's a prison of innocent men, Fezzy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a prison of innocent men. This happens all the time. It's weird. You get a felony against you. George Steinbrenner had to go back to the prison and be pardoned of a felony that he committed so he could start voting again.
See, you forget about that.
Yeah.
I would just show up at the polls. Oh, yeah, I'm a felon. I forgot.
Yeah, why can't the felons vote? Their vote should count as much as anybody else's. You get out. I understand you're in jail, you can't vote. You get out, you should have a right to vote again. And most of them aren't even going to want to. Justin, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, how's it going, Fez? Listen, buddy, I love you. You can have my number if you want.
Thank you.
That's great.
But listen, I voted in every election since I've turned 18. I'm 24 now. And I think this may be the first election I don't vote because there's no competency on either ballot. And quite frankly, Bush and Kerry are the same. They believe in the same things. The only difference is Kerry wants Bush's job. That's the only difference.
I don't think anybody would fault that this election there's no difference. I think totally different guys, totally different styles. Parties are pretty much going in totally different directions. I think there's a lot of things that divide the parties now. Obviously, we're a divided party. We're a divided country. We haven't pulled any closer together. I don't think you can use the argument anymore, Fezzy. It doesn't matter.
Now, what happens, though, is you see things like with the 9/11 Commission, and you see President Bush say, I want to implement some of those things like the intelligence czar,
right.
And John Kerry trying to say the same thing at the same time.
But that's not a bad situation. I mean, if something comes out that it's so obvious to both sides, that's a positive thing. You want to see how the guy stands on it. I don't think that you have to be back and forth on every single issue. I don't think that you have to disagree with the other party just because they're the other party. I think that's a solid thing.
With John Kerry,
they both have come up with stuff that they feel the same way about.
Yeah, the difference is, President Bush, see, it's the subtle differences with a lot of this 9/11 thing. President Bush wants the office outside of the White House. John Kerry wants it in.
Right.
And it's basically who's going to sound more convincing on a lot of these things where everybody, the entire country, does agree on it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're going to handle, like the guy said, either way you look at it, there's going to be a war on terror. But you see, they would both handle things differently. And if you don't think Al Gore would have handled what happened after 9/11 differently than George Bush, you're crazy. We would not be in the same place. Whether you agree or disagree with President Bush, Al Gore would have handled this, I'd say, almost totally different after of how we go out and fight terror. So it is a whole different way of living. Here is Iris. Iris, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Hello?
Oh, God, I'm not going to deal with that.
Stop it, fake Iris.
You're not the real Iris. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for because I listened to Kerry, and he sounds like he's going to give everything to everybody they want. And then I listen to Bush, and I think about him and the FCC and Colin Powell Jr., and then I really like the Ron and Fez show, and if he gets his way, you guys will be off the air, and I'll be driving to Delaware, listening to Top 40. Because I like Ron and Fez, I'm going to vote for Kerry.
All right, thank you very much. It's the Ron and Fez vote.
I never knew that we were a factor.
Yeah, well, we're the O'Reilly factor, really. 866-277-4969. Renee, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hi. Actually, My point is, I used to work the polls when I was in high school, but that was essentially just to get a day off from school.
Nice. I only get the elderly. I never get any high school kids.
No, I'm not in high school anymore. I'm 30 and still have not voted yet. My point is, I'd actually like to see a guy that makes less money a year. That way, he'll actually work harder. I think that you can get a lot more accomplished, you know, if you're not spending half your time at Camp David. You know, the person that takes...
the president isn't paid by the hour, so it's not like he has to punch in. And your point is only wealthy people can make it into the White House?
Well, I think that someone that makes less money will actually work harder. It seems like we've only had wealthy people. I mean... Well,
Bill Clinton did not come in. I think I think his highest price he ever made was like $24,000 a year before he went into the White House.
Yeah, but you're also talking, he invested in real estate. I mean...
Not at $24,000 a year, you're not invested in anything.
That was not his gross salary. He definitely made more money than that.
No, he didn't. No, he did not. I mean, his wife made some money, but the reality of it is some of the people. What?
I mean,
she wasn't.
Family unit.
Yeah, she wasn't a rich person either. The reality is, you become rich after you're president if you weren't before.
Those Carters had no money going in or coming out of the White House.
No, I thought Jimmy Carter had money from being a farmer.
He had the farm, you know, and as good as that did, you know, it wasn't great money.
I don't think Gerald Ford came out of big money. Nixon never made money. He was a public servant his whole life. So you know, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but what you're looking at. And this thing is, how does it affect you?
At this point in time, especially with the things going on today, we need somebody that's not taking 10 coffee breaks a day.
All right, but
let's practice this as like a normal job. You know, you're defending the country for crying out loud, you know?
Yeah, but you say, I don't know. Okay, thank you very much. Hold on, I got a little headache. I'm talking to people. All right, it's passing.
Do I rub your temples?
No, I'm just waiting for a voice to get on my head. There it goes.
How about your mosques?
There it is. It's all out of my head right now. Matt, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Evening, buddies.
Yeah.
Some of these days, I don't want your guys' job. I don't want that wished on anybody.
Well,
I'm ready for a coffee break.
Well, we're all listening to the same show, so really.
Yeah. Oh, guys, I just wanted to weigh in and say that if you don't take the liberties and freedoms that we have to vote, I feel that you don't have a leg to stand on.
Well, I mean, the reality is most of the time, more than half the country does not vote. So if you look at President Bush, who last time pretty much split the popular vote with Al Gore, and then you really think that half the country didn't vote, that's only 1/4 of the folks in the country voted for him, of adults, not even bringing up kids.
And one thing that has been in the news all week coming out of the White House is we've got 90% of the Afghanis registered to vote. They are ready for January.
Yeah.
And that same thought process has not come to this country.
Patrick, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, Baldy?
Hey, my buddy.
I gotta be honest, I don't know who I'm voting for. I'm a lifelong Republican. I'm 30. I voted in every election since I've been able to vote. And this year, though, I don't know. Kerry, I know nothing about this guy, even after the convention. And Bush, I'm really not a big fan of his whole religious agenda he's got going on.
Now, because of that, you're thinking about stepping away this year?
I'm thinking I might vote for myself, a little write-in candidate.
Put yourself in as a write-in. Go for that Mickey Mouse idea that everybody always laughs at.
Write me in. Patrick from Baltimore.
It works in student council election.
Hold on. In case I change my mind, I might be going Patrick from Baltimore.
There you go,
we get enough people. See you later, my buddy.
It's a grassroots campaign.
All right, coming up next, Fez, we're going to be talking with a psychiatrist who's written a book about President Bush.
Yeah, it's Dr. Justin Frank from George Washington University Medical Center. His book is Bush on the Couch, Inside the Mind of the President.
We'll be right back. It's the Ron and Fez Show.